Annie here with another infernal anecdote. Today, we're slipping into one of the most jaw-dropping and captivating true crime stories in recent times. A chilling story that shook the quiet town of Bethesda, Maryland, to its core. The Lululemon murder case. Grab your favorite pair of leggings and hold on tight, because this one is going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Meet Brittany Norwood, the lethal legging lover. Now let's rewind. It's March 11th, 2011, in Bethesda, Maryland. Bethesda's a pretty upscale area where violent crimes aren't a worry. It's a quiet evening at the local Lululemon Athletica store. Lululemon is known for their stylish activewear. It's a popular spot for fitness enthusiasts and fashionistas alike. Their comfy leggings and biker shorts are all the rave. It seems like the last place you'd expect a murder to take place. But on that fateful night, everything changed. Initially, looked like a robbery gone wrong. Jayna Troxel Murray was found brutally murdered inside the store, but she wasn't the only one working that night. Two women were. Jayna and Brittany Norwood were closing up the store together. At first glance, they seemed like they got along fine. But when you start scratching the surface, you see that Jayna was a 30-year-old graduate student at Johns Hopkins University, only accepting a job at Lululemon so she could meet other active people and attend seminars that would help her as she pursued a Master of Business Administration degree. A bright future ahead of her. Brittany, on the other hand, was a 29-year-old who had been working at Lululemon for a while. Fellow employees said there were never any issues between the two women. Wild things happened the night of March 11th. The store manager comes in the next morning and finds this horrifying scene. Door is unlocked, merchandise is tossed all across the floor, and mannequins are everywhere. She could hear someone moaning in the back of the store. Bloody footprints all throughout. Jayna was dead, lying in a pool of her blood, with a ligature around her neck. Brittany was found in the bathroom, tied up, clothes torn, with cuts and bruises all over her face and body. It looks like they were both attacked. Officers spoke with employees of an Apple store next door, after learning workers had heard two females arguing the night of the killing. They dismissed the shouts as just drama. Apple employee Janice Verzo heard a woman's voice say, "Don't do this. Talk to me. What's going on?" Followed by 10 minutes of shouting and grunting. Then, hearing the same voice later said, "God help me. Please help me." Somehow, no one called the police. The initial story Brittany tells the police is absolutely terrifying. The two closed and left the store around 9:45 p.m., but returned when Norwood had forgotten her wallet. Records showed that the door was unlocked at 10:05 p.m. She says they were assaulted by two masked men who burst into the store. Brittany claimed they had physically assaulted them and then killed Jayna after she attempted to fight back. Somehow, Brittany survived the brutal attack. The two men wore dark clothing and ski masks. The community was rocked by the senseless violence that has invaded their peaceful town. How could something so horrific happen? But as the police started their investigation and dig deeper, things just didn't add up. For one, there were no signs of forced entry. Two, the forensic evidence started to tell a different story. The bloody footprints in the store, get this, were from a pair of shoes inside the store, and Norwood's own shoes. It was also discovered that the bloody footprints ended right before exiting the store. While police initially treated Norwood as a victim, it soon became clear that the evidence did not support Brittany's account. Additionally, investigators did not find evidence that either woman had been intimately assaulted. Norwood went as far as cutting a hole in Murray's pants to make it appear that she had been taken advantage of. It's the little details. Jayna had over 330 injuries on her body. 330. From at least 5 different weapons, including a knife and a hammer, which may have come from a toolbox in the store. Absolutely wild. Can you imagine? The medical examiner said it was one of the most brutal attacks they'd ever seen. There were cuts, blunt force trauma, you name it. Then there's Brittany and her injuries. They were all superficial in comparison. It was like she was trying to make it look like she had been attacked, but without actually hurting herself too badly, appearing to be consistent with self-inflicted wounds. If that wasn't enough, police also found blood in Jayna's car, on the vehicle's door handle, gear shift, and steering wheel. It was a mix of her blood and, of course, Brittany's blood. When they asked Norwood whether she had moved the car, she admitted that she had to. Brittany claimed the 2 masked men ordered her to. If she didn't come back in 10 minutes, they would kill her. Brittany also said that she passed by a police officer while in Jayna's vehicle, but decided not to say anything. Interesting is all I have to say. With all this evidence piling up and Brittany's story rumbling apart faster than House of Cards on a windy afternoon, the police found out that Jayna had discovered Brittany was trying to steal a pair of yoga pants through a routine security check. Norwood's managers had suspected she was shoplifting, but they couldn't fire her without direct proof. Jayna had called their manager and was told it would be dealt with in the morning. Brittany must have panicked, thinking she would lose her job. Murray ended up paying for it with her life. What started as a disagreement over stolen merchandise spiraled into a senseless act of violence. It's just so tragic. Jayna lost her life in such a violent way, all over a pair of yoga pants. And Brittany? She was arrested a week after the infernal slaying and charged with first-degree murder. During the trial, it was clear she had tried to cover up her crime by staging the scene and fabricating the story about the 2 masked men and everything else that happened that night. A forensic expert had testified that the direction of the dried blood on her face suggested that her story could not be true. Instead of being tied up and lying on the bathroom floor where she was found, she was probably upright the majority of the night. Just more evidence piling up against Brittany's testimony. In January 2012, Brittany was found guilty and later sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She's serving her time at Maryland Correctional Institution for Women. The judge called the crime heinous and brutal, and honestly, I can't think of better words to describe it. But the scars left by the Lululemon murder run deep. This case really shook the community and made national headlines. It's just one of those reminders that sometimes the most shocking things can happen in the most unexpected places, even the most seemingly idyllic communities. Jayna Murray's life was cut so short, so senselessly. Jayna's father, David Murray, recalled his daughter was one of the most fearless people he had ever known. I really admired her for everything she did and everything she represented. Jayna's mother, Phyllis Murray, added her daughter was known for her smile and hugs. whether she knew you for 2 seconds or years. Those were her greetings, Phyllis said. Let's take a moment to honor her life and her memory. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next infernal anecdote.